Good evening, everyone. I'm Ted Ramey alongside Stephen Davies as we get set for this NISA showcase. Stephen, so nice to be out with you once again.
It is, Ted, and it's crazy how quickly the seasons can change around here. Just 6 days ago, it was shorts and t-shirts weather. Now, fall conditions are most certainly here for what unfortunately is the final home game of the 2019 season.
Before we look ahead, let's look back. What did you see just 6 days ago? What are you taking away from that performance?
I saw the Oakland Roots putting together all the pieces of the puzzle, finally. They were able to do it here at home, a couple of quick goals in both the first and second half. Overall, a very convincing performance against top Mexican League opposition.
And like you alluded to, it is unfortunately the last home game of the year, but it's been fantastic here at Laney Athletic Field. The community, the way they've shown up, the atmosphere here inside the stadium, just a smashing success.
I think beyond all the wildest expectations of both the team and the fans that have shown up en masse since the first minute of the first match, and it's just been a superior experience for everybody involved, and obviously they want to keep the momentum going for 2020 and beyond.
The first win is now under the belt for this Roots side, and it's really more of a gelling. We're seeing the team kind of coming together. What's your take on that?
You have to remember that they had a shortened preseason, 3 or 4 weeks at most, and it would be difficult really for any team to put all the pieces together in such a quick manner. But you can see now that the Roots are definitely starting to put results together on the pitch, and I fully expect that to continue tonight as well.
And ahead of this final matchup here at Laney Athletic Field against LA Force tonight, what are you looking forward to see a winning or a successful performance from the Roots?
I think if they get their number 9, Jack McInerney, going quickly. He has 5 goals on the season so far. He loves to score goals here in front of the home crowd. If he does so here tonight, Ted, I think they'll be leaving with another victory.
It's the Roots and the Force. We've got continued pregame coverage coming up next. As we are underway here between the Roots and LA Force. Ted Ramey alongside Stephen Davies. The final home match of the 2019 campaign for the Roots. Stephen, I'm very happy with you for this, as we see an immediate long pass on the right wing that's going to be brought down. Cross is deflected and immediately parried out of the 18.
The Roots trying to repeat what they did to begin the second half of last week against the Catapult. Good to see you once again, Ted, and good to be working with you one more time. I can't believe the 7 weeks has just flown by, hasn't it? It was just like yesterday we were doing the FC Juarez game.
It really has. It went by a little bit too quick as far as I'm concerned, because it's been fun watching every single match, and I should let you know that this pre- and in-game analysis breakdown is brought to you by Oaklandish, the official merchandiser of the Oakland Roots. Check out oaklandish.com for all your Oakland gear. And it's going to be a throw-in on the far side that's going to be out over the end line and back to the Roots.
Safe to say, Ted, I think the LA Force are a little bit of an unknown quantity, shall we say. We'll get into that a little bit more as the match progresses a little bit. But just briefly to give you the changes for the Roots, Larry Jackson's in goal. Jairo Zimeno is out of the 18. He's got an ankle injury. 3rd consecutive start for Kadeem Say and Angel Heredia in midfield. 6 in a row now for Robert Hines II. Quinn Rogers will make the match day 18, as will Devontae DuBose, Victor Bernardes, and Kevin Gonzalez in the 18 for the first time as well.
As this will be brought down by the back line of LA and out of play.
Andres Jimenez was the other member of the substitutes bench that I didn't mention, but I think it's safe to say, Ted, that Coach Paul Bravo is starting to settle down with his team selection.
And Hata crossing one in, but coming out to grab that off the ground is going to be Mendoza, nicely watched in.
The Roots, as we mentioned in the pregame, wanted to start quickly. They did so last week with early goals in the 8th minute against the Catapult, and then a goal early on, I think, in the 2nd minute of the second half. And they will look to keep the pressure on this LA Force team. Of course, losing to the Force when they were down in LA a couple of weeks ago. The man that scored the goal on that occasion for Los Angeles, number 7, Naeem Charles, on the bench for LA and Coach Dallas Peterson.
And this will be brought out to the near side to Chavez from Redwood City, California, as he plays it back through the circle to Chris Christian. Out to Hoya off the right elbow. And he'll chip one in, and coming out again strong as Mendoza takes a hit and goes down. But you like watching the Roots asking these questions early on.
You certainly do. That was Angel Heredia there going in, and Mendoza in goal, taking a bit of a shot. That ball, a little slice on it, a little backspin, and perhaps catching Mendoza off guard, but seems to be okay for the time being. So Daniel Mendoza in goal. The defenders Giovanni Vasquez, Mark Tanco, Gregory Salazar, and the captain Joshua Culwell. The midfielders Alvaro Madrigal, Ricardo Ruiz, Jesus Gonzalez, and Leonardo Dos Anjos. And then the forwards Marvin Milano and Boniface Muchiri for LA.
And Hunter thought he caught a handball, and we are going to get a whistle for that.
Salazar called for the handball there for LA. Alvaro Madrigal wearing number 10, as we mentioned, also wearing the captain's armband for Coach Peterson. Good flick forward.
And this is put out on the wing. Brought down Hoya, putting it in front, still loose. Rebound is going to be grabbed up. So out on the front foot in the early goings here are the Roots.
Robert Hines starting the left back today, came forward, found the ball curling in invitingly for him, but maybe didn't get enough of a sweet hit there with the right foot as he might have liked. But the Roots piling on the pressure here in the attacking third early on.
And played back to Jackson. And Mash will come down with this left of the area. Trying to work around, still caught up. Good effort to start there, unable to stay with it.
You're always dangerous. Not like we need to tell Oakland Roots fans out there how dangerous Jack McInerney is, but he's going to be the danger man for the Roots tonight, and someone that this LA defense will have to keep a keen eye upon. But you have to like the way the Roots have started in the opening 6 minutes of this match with at least 4 forays into the attacking third. And you have to feel with the crowd hyped up as they were by Mr. Fab's pregame concert that the goals might come early and often here for the Roots.
As a turnover, midfield is countered by another turnover. And good defensive play there to hold things up, but LA back with it. And an errant pass that caught a man a little bit back on his heels. I believe that was Boniface Muchiri who went down.
Was that second opportunity there for Marvin Milano to play him through there into the left channel, but Muchiri losing his footing and the first real attacking threat from the force in the match.
Christian Gantus and the long ball for Chavez, but this is going to be cut off and taken away. And a whistle.
Angel Heredia, who already clattered into the goalkeeper earlier on, then clips Jesus Gonzalez. When we spoke to Octavio Guzman and to Jack McInerney, I think the one thing they really regretted, Ted, was not picking up those points in that match against LA. They thought that was a real opportunity for a victory. One counterattack led to the goal, and the Roots unable to find the back of the net. And that's been, unfortunately, a little bit of the problem for the Roots so far this year, is dropping the points, of course, in the opener when they had the 3-goal lead against Cal United Strikers, and then not being able to pick up the points against LA, which, as it currently stands, leaves them bottom of the West Division here in the 2019 NISA Showcase.
And here's another ball back in, but that'll be handled by Jackson.
Well, sliced off the instep of the right foot there. Jackson well placed and had it easily.
Of course, Jackson, one of many Bay Area natives. He played collegially for Santa Clara, as here's a turnover. And an opportunity now for LA. Crossed in front, score! And against the run of play, LA are able to find the back of the net here first.
It's a tremendous piece of play by Ricardo Ruiz, and he could have gone for goal himself, but unselfishly lays it off for Marvin Milano, who makes no mistake.
And not a bad start from Milano, as we learned was added to the roster just in the 24 hours leading up to this match, as we learned.
So we'll take a look at the replay here, but all Roots so far and trying to clear it forward, and Ruiz with the pace there. And look at this pass here. He's looking towards goal, squares it off unselfishly, and Milano makes no mistake with the right foot.
Back to the outside through Hines, and now Chris Christian.
And the look on Paul Bravo's face there from the touchline camera there really said it all.
And a turnover. Resetting all the way back to Mendoza, the keeper. The Roots with the pressure, trying to cause the turnover. Here's Hata crossing it in, and then Mendoza reads it all the way to the top of the 6.
Hata's been a menace tonight for the Roots so far down that right side. Big physical presence for the Roots, and, well, could be said that the Force had a lucky bounce in their attacking half of the pitch, and the Roots almost had one in their attacking third as well.
Christian from Chavez.
Oh, and another error. Luckily, Christian was back there to snuff that one out.
And Christian standing tall in the face of a hard charge, able to recover. Size brings it out to the far side, and another turnover. And these turnovers are the things that keep people like Paul Bravo up at night.
Yeah, no doubt. Also, when you think about the trip down to San Diego, 3-1 down at half, the Roots, as we know, are certainly able to battle back, losing that game 4-3, but he's probably not pleased to see the Roots dig themselves an early hole in this match in the 11th minute now.
Gonzalez looking long, nicely defended there by Hines. And a whistle comes in.
Time to take a breath here, I think, if you're the Roots, and regroup. There's no doubt that the Roots have the attacking prowess. They've got the quality to get back into this game.
As the ball goes out of play, remember today's starting 11 brought to you by Oakland Kia, the Roots local video sponsor, local vehicle sponsor. Visit Oakland Kia for your next purchase or lease. Again, the starting 11 for the Roots. In case you're just joining us, Larry Jackson is the man between the sticks. Defenders out there today, Robert Hines, Chris Christian. Now to your Gantus, here's one that gets played back to the man who I was speaking about, Gantus. David Chavez, Kadim Say, Angel Heredia, Ryan Mash, Salifu Hata, Benji Hoya, and Jack McInerney. And for the LA Force, Daniel Mendoza, the man between the sticks. Backline, Greg Salazar, Josh Colwell. As here's one that goes down the left wing. It's popped up. Might have caught a deflection. And it did. I'll remind you that our corner kick is presented by Oakland Kia, the Roots official vehicle sponsor. Visit Oakland Kia for your next purchase or lease. As we get set for this, I'll remind you again, we've got Mark Tanco, Jesus Gonzalez, Leo de Anjos, Alvaro Madrigal, Ricardo Ruiz, Marvin Merlano, Bonifacio Mochiri out there for the Force.
And it was the aforementioned Mark Tanko there who got some foot to that ball, going stride with Ryan Mash.
And there'll be some pushing and shoving inside the B18. And it's back to L.A.
I didn't mention it at the time, Mark, but it appears that the Force have bought a section of traveling support, which are a little bit to our left, but they were jumping up and down when Milano scored that opening goal. And well, that's one of the nice things about a somewhat close rival, right? You can bring some traveling support, as I'm sure you're familiar with.
It's a quick drive to go from NorCal to SoCal.
Right?
This one's handled along the center line. Zavala, who was controlling. And now it's Dos Anjos. Ruiz. Back to Ruiz from Salazar. Gonzalez. And a whistle.
Benji Hoyer with a couple of apologies there for Jesus Gonzalez.
Played to the far side. And Ruiz able to play it to the back line. Out of play. Throw in for Oakland.
Mistake there by Muchiri, but after absorbing some of that early pressure, Ted, it seems that LA have calmed down a little bit. They look comfortable in possession. They look comfortable with the ball at their feet, and they're willing, it looks like, for now, to be able to take whatever the Roots can throw at them.
Oakland building from the back. And Hoya will lay this for Christian, who races up to the center line. He's given some room as Christian. He'll pop one forward. It's going to be too far out in front of the intended target of David Chavez over the end line and back to L.A. on a goal kick.
And I'll be disappointed with that. As you mentioned, the space opened up there and a little bit of a heavy touch on the ball as Chavez found room to work with down the right. And Hata will definitely create some space for Chavez to move forward. But the important thing perhaps for the Force is taking the crowd somewhat out of the match momentarily, as we know this crowd can get hyped up in a hurry. But just like in the FC Juarez game when they were 3-0 down after about 11, 12 minutes or so, the early goal has really silenced the home crowd here at Laney.
As Mack charging in to try and disrupt, as that ball is going to be knocked out.
Make some noise, Oakland!
And he really is the X factor in this match. 5 goals on the season so far. An uncanny ability to find net, as we've seen over the course of his MLS playing days. And in the USL as well. He's a man that can change this game in an instant for the Roots.
Chavez pressured. He'll have to play this all the way back to Jackson on the reset. Christian trying to find a target in front of him that he likes. We'll play it back to the keeper. Looking for Chavez. Kept alive, and that'll stay with Oakland. Quickly in. Hoya barking orders, trying to get Chavez to start his run as he brings this back to the center circle, and Christian. Christian trying to force it forward. That ball gets batted right back, and now it's back to the control of the Force. It's Bonifaci Muchiri out there on the far touchline, being challenged. And Oakland able to come down with it. Here's Hata laying it off. And there's a foul that comes in. And
Muchiri catches him awkwardly, and He's going to get a stern talking to here, but I think the card is going to stay in the pocket of the referee for now.
Yeah, that was Heredia who took a tumble. I think to Heredia's credit, he also sold it very well.
Yeah.
Hoya.
Good football.
Now Chavez with the cross, a header. Oh, just over the bar.
How did that not go in, Ted?
It's one time the extra inches of height for Hatta did not play in favor of Oakland.
Well, a good chance of that might be hard to come by in this match. Excellent football on the touchline here. Great 1-2. Chavez, beautiful touch, first time. And it actually might have come off the shoulder of Hatta. Now we look at it. We have to see that one more time, but...
Yeah, and it did get a little bit of Mendoza. I guess he got a finger on it. It didn't look like it in real time, but that's what set up the corner now for Oakland. Whipped in, punched away by Mendoza. Kept alive by Oakland, but the nearest striker was in an offside position, had to lay off.
So here's a look at it one more time. There's the 1-2 played. Let's have a look at this as we really slow it down. Yeah, it's, again, a little difficult to tell. It looked like Hatta maybe headed it down and it came off his body, and have to see one more time to see if Mendoza got a piece of it. But either way, the Roots are inches away from tying this one up at 1 apiece.
And a whistle's going to come in late there.
That's Hines' call for the foul. He's disappointed. I think the Force player might have sold that well as well, Ted.
That's what it takes.
And it was Muchiri on the other end of the foul.
1-0 in favor of LA right now is Merlano with the opening goal in this one for LA. It's out for Muchiri. In front, loose through the 6. And that'll be played out conservatively. Nice job, but it'll stay with LA.
Chavez, well positioned there on the edge of the 6-yard box. Well, that did flash across the face of the goal a little more dangerously, perhaps, than Larry Jackson would have liked.
Salazar gets it back and then tapped out after the throw-in.
Hatta's call for the foul there. Set piece opportunity here with Alvaro Madrigal to take the free kick. Chavez and Hoya in the wall. Everyone except for McInerney inside the 18-yard box.
Jackson guarding the near post, floating a little bit more centrally. Service towards the back post, slapped away by Jackson, and then it'll be cleared out. Back to the center line. So good defense by the Roots on the set piece, excuse me. And now the Roots trying to spring the counter. Throw in Oakland. Right up the middle. And LA will stay with the possession.
Roots are so close to tying this game up, and after looking a little out of sorts over the course of, the last 6 to 7 minutes, they're starting to find some ground to work with to move forward.
Played back into the 18, a little bit of a delay. Hatta was really charging hotter than Mendoza kind of gave a appearance of. As now Hatta comes up trying to force the turnover, contests out of play, back to Oakland. Hustle there from Hata to get the ball back in possession of the Roots.
The biggest cheer we've had from the crowd tonight is Gregory Salazar and Salafu Hata were shoulder charging each other the whole way down.
Here's Mash. Tangled up, but stays with it, lays it off to Hoya, and Chavez waits for it on the right wing. Lays it centrally. Say dances about. Heredia with a big shot, gets under that one.
The vision of Benji Hoya, though, to hit that first time into the path of Chavez, and to the credit of Alvaro Madrigal, he closed down Chavez's opportunity quickly there, but the creativity is certainly there from the Roots. The one-touch football has been very good at times tonight, and we have an injured player down now for Los Angeles.
So 24th minute, 1-0 in favor of the Force.
So time for a quick Gatorade break here. Dallas Peterson, the first year head coach for the LA Force. They tend to the injured players. Still getting the old magic sponge and spray out there, Ted?
Well, whatever works.
It's a magic sponge back in my day.
My favorite now is the spray these days.
Yeah.
The spray, that's the magic.
Yeah. Well, at least they're not running on the pitch with buckets of water and the sponge anymore, right?
No, and you can always tell by the way the players respond to it, too. This was not a situation where the guys needed a rest or a water break or anything like that.
Section C, how y'all doing over there? Section C.
And sometimes you look, is it there comes the spray, but there was a little bit of cramping, I'm thinking, what was going on there, which you didn't expect to see. I mean, even though us, the broadcasters, might complain about it being a little chilly, ideal conditions.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's just like we said in the pregame. Here's a quick look at the replay. That one is punched away there by Mendoza, but how quickly the season's changed. The first match back against Cal United Strikers, I think it was about 85 degrees here, beautiful weather, and now fall is most certainly here. And, you know, before we know it, though, Ted, it'll be 2020, and we'll be back here in April.
In case you're just joining us, we'd like to apologize for a moment for the streaming difficulties we've had. And we'll get you a look at the first goal that gave LA the 1-0 lead here as you join us in the 26th minute.
And this is very much against the run of play here, Ted. Ricardo Ruiz capitalizing on the mistake there by Nadia Gantus. And, you know, he was looking to goal, but sees a teammate out of the corner of his eye, and it is Marvin Milano who hammers it past Larry Jackson for the opening goal. And this is the best chance of, well, we're about to see the best chance of the day for the Roots so far, as Salafu Hata headed over the crossbar, millimeters over the target. But it is the visitors from Los Angeles with the lead here at Laney Athletic Field.
This goal kick is presented by Little Giant Ice Cream. Little Giant is an Oakland-based premium hard scoop ice cream company featuring new flavors every day. Check them out at littlegianticecream.com.
An acrobatic play there by Madrigal to bunny hop over the bench to retrieve the ball.
Salazar. His throw-in goes a bit long, but a whistle is going to come in on Gantus.
And there was looked like the referee was briefly reaching into the pocket. Being a little bit chippy out there. I think the tone might have been set early on when Heredia bundled into Mendoza in the opening couple of minutes of the match. But the card has remained in the referee's pocket up until this point so far.
And just got a little bit of the forearm there in the back of his head. As we get set for the free kick. Headed, knocked, and a saved and grabbed away by Jackson.
Tremendous reaction save there by Larry Jackson. First of all, making the initial save, but palming it directly up into the air so he would be able to claim it a second time. Madrigal's free kick, very dangerous though. Bounced around in the second time of asking, was headed on goal, but Larry Jackson, reminiscent of Zermano last week against the Catapec, with an excellent point-blank reaction save.
Long ball there intended for McInerney, handled by Mendoza. Too far out in front. Too long and handled by the Oakland back line. There's Hoya catching this one on the move. The captain barks a few orders and brings it out to the left wing. Heredia, Say, and we've got a man down again for LA. Chavez.
It's Gonzalez down for LA.
And they'll courtesy this out of play.
And that's unfortunate because that's the best sequence of passing play we've seen from the Roots tonight. And McInerney is furious there at Chavez for something. I think McInerney may have seen what happened to Gonzalez. But there were about 11 or 12 passes in a row there from the Roots. Switching the field, and Hoya again, the linchpin. That great touch with the right foot sending into the far side of the pitch. So Gonzalez in the wars here. And
well, it's what we talked about in the pregame, just the overall gelling, the chemistry, people being on the same page, able to work things, understanding the timing, and I think that's what we saw in that buildup. It's just, obviously the injury changed the dynamic of the play.
I mean, good sportsmanship by the Roots. I mean, that's fair play. Let's see if we might be able to see this here, actually. There's Gonzalez right there. And he just pulls up. Look at that. He just cramps up, and down he goes.
Yeah, whenever it's a non-contact injury, always gives you pause for consider, as now it appears that Enrique Cardenas is going to come in now for the force. And that's not the way that anybody wants to see anyone's night come to an end. As again, Jesus Gonzalez comes off after taking the knock. And he's right down immediately as the players on the field get ready to get back in play here. And it is LA's ball. I imagine they'll play this, and they do, to the back line of Oakland.
First half is flying by here, Ted.
32nd minute, 1-0 LA. And now this is handled in the circle by LA after the turnover. Dos Anjos. Got that from Zavala, and now it's played out. Leading to a throw-in.
Substitution for LA Force, replacing number 13, Jesus Gonzalez, number 91, Enrique.
Defended nicely to the control of Oakland. I believe that was Heredia who got a head on it first. Nice back heel from Hoya. McInerney couldn't come in there and get it as this one pinballs about the middle third. And now here's a long ball. And Chavez able to keep it in play, but not in the right direction. But coming up from behind, a nice turnover there. Intercepting the pass was Hata. Now through Chavez, the Roots trying to build up passing as a foul comes in.
And that's Cardenas, who just came on there, that fouls Hoya.
Hoya off a pair of bounces, finding Christian. Out to Hines. Into Heredia. San Jose native is Heredia. And Hoya again. Also a San Jose native. And getting pushed off the ball there. Back to the control of LA. This one goes out of play though. So as quickly as they lose it, Oakland gets it right back.
And just as you said, control, Muchiri lost control of the ball there going into touch. It's fun watching Benji Hoya, though, direct traffic on the pitch. Looking both sides, always trying to get involved in the action.
And here's a shot, pushed in off the save! This game is level at 1.
And talk about something out of nothing. Ryan Mash unleashes the right-footed hammer.
And Mendoza did get a good amount of two hands on that ball, but it was an absolute rocket.
He absolutely uncorked that effort. Let's look at it again. Hoyer, you think wanted it in the middle, and it just skims the fingers of Mendoza and finds the top corner of the net, and we are tied up at 1 apiece.
35th minute. Level at 1 here between Oakland and LA.
Hattis,
Ooh, and Hatt's always coming in with the turnovers. Cardenas plays one long. Gantus there.
a little bit of magic from Ryan Mash. That's goal number 4. So quietly, Ted, he's number 2 in scoring on this team.
Catching up with Jack at 5.
Yes, he is.
Stutter step Salazar had a hard time handling that ball, and then Hatta coming in, knock it out of play.
This is the net cam. Look at this. Look, a little spin, and yes, you're right. He got both hands to it, but it was such a strong shot. And despite the strong wrists there of Mendoza, he just couldn't do anything but help guide it into the top corner. And the confrontation here between Hatta and
Salazar, they did not. That was not a gentlemanly shove there. I do not think that Hatta liked the way that he was being defended by Salazar as this one sails out of play. That's going to be one to watch now. As again, we saw was a little bit testy from the get-go.
Yeah.
After that initial collision between Heredia and Mendoza, and it's only continued to be so. No cards as of yet as Chavez steps in front of the throw-in, and now it's a headbanger's ball in the middle third, where Cardenas comes down with it and lays it off to his right. And Hatta coming up on Salazar once again.
Their tails have been up ever since they exchanged shoulder charges all the way down the near touchline about maybe 10 minutes ago or so. It's definitely going to be an interesting matchup to keep an eye on as this one progresses. And Mash is
drawing a foul there, yeah. Level at 1 here, 37th minute. And the pass intended for Hines is going to be intercepted. As the Roots race back to get in position on defense, Salazar keeping this one in play. And nice play by Chavez and Hatta to come and get the turnover. Making is Hatta, nicely done. Now Hoya trying to find the outlet, and that was only Jackson who sends it long. McInerney going to the air, trying to fight for this one. Still loose, anyone's ball. And now we've got...
And McInerney, you thought for a second was going to be able to muscle his way past both defenders and win back possession.
Well, I think he tried to get the defenders to bite because he went to the air but didn't give it a full up, kind of went with his momentum to try and bait them to go up and let him run on.
But he gets a warning from the referee. Let's take a look at it again here. Joshua Culwell there, the center back for LA on the receiving end.
And you saw the palms up what for McInerney? As this one deflects back to the center line. Vasquez. Colwell. And suddenly Oakland picking up the pace as Hoya dummies this through to Hata. Hata on the charge, and he gets taken down.
And guess who? Salazar there sticks out his shoulder.
And it looks like there's a little something down on the pitch right there where he went down. And we can't tell if that's just a piece of turf or what.
Well, we got another injured player for LA on the other side. Salazar puts out a shoulder. And Hata looks a little shaken up perhaps, but so here we go on the replay. Hata drives between players, muscles one man out of the way, and there it is. Does not concede any ground whatsoever, and the big man goes down for the Roots.
Hata and Hoya have a discussion. I remind you that Oakland Roots 2020 membership deposits are available now. Place your deposit today at www.oaklandrootssc.com/tickets or call 510-488-1137 and be guaranteed the first opportunity to secure a 2020 Oakland Roots membership as soon as they become available.
Roots are ready for next year. These 4 games they've had here at home have just been a colossal success all the way around. And I can only imagine how much fun it's going to be for a full season next year.
Most definitely. The environment here has been spectacular. And again, I want to welcome those of you that are just joining us on the stream. I know there were a few technical difficulties, but we're level at 1 here in the 41st minute. It was Ryan Mash with his 4th goal of the year that equalized for Oakland after Merlano had the first strike of the match for LA. And now Oakland possessing. Hines into Christian. Finding Hoya. Hoya, quick first step, pushing it forward. Lost a bit of his momentum. Wants to come up and challenge. Out of play. And that'll stay with Oakland. Benji Hoya.
It's just been all over the pitch tonight for the Roots, forcing Salazar into the mistake there.
Stays with Oakland.
Make some noise, Oakland.
42nd minute, level at 1 here. Final home match of the year for Oakland. Chavez on the throw-in. And coming off his line to handle with ease is Mendoza. And his distribution is going to be cut off by Gantus. And played to the outside, Chavez. Cutting inside and distributing. It was nice in its appearance, but its completion was not there. As Salazar plays this to his center back, and Hata comes in hard. And finally, a whistle does come in. But I can say, Stephen, it definitely feels like a Northern California and Southern California team are facing off.
Right. Regardless if they've played each other once or 1,000 times, it doesn't take much to get the old tail up as far as superiority between North and South. And with 4 clubs in NISA for 2020 here based in California, and of course the Roots being the lone club representing the northern half of the state, these rivalries will be great to watch as they continue to develop into the new decade.
Pass from Gantus is cut off. And sent long, intended for Bonifaci Muchiri. Off the mark. Rolled out to Chavez, who dribbles away from a pair of defenders and plays this back to Gantus. And this one's out of play, back to LA.
Gotta give credit though to the Force. They've definitely been up for this one, Ted.
As the throw-in comes towards the 18. Cleared away from the defensive third. And Salazar able to control this back to Vasquez. And now Colwell plays it long, but this pass will be cut off as well. Back on the attack, LA. Out to Cardenas. Salazar. And a whistle comes in. And this will lead to a card.
And the referee, perhaps, the antics between Hata and
Salazar.
His patience with the big man has worn thin. As we take a look at the replay here. So there's a shove there. And then Cardenas, that's harsh for a yellow card.
It looked like Hata just went in there with just a little bit of a toe poke of a challenge. But I think maybe the referee could see where this was going and was trying to. This is the classic example. Again, as 5 minutes of stoppage time here at the end of the first half come on. But this is a classic example of what you want. You want the referee to take control of the game and set the standard and let them know what they can and cannot get away with.
Everyone inside the box for the Roots once again.
Jackson a little bit towards his back post and cheating a little bit more. As this one is played towards the top of the sixth and then headed clear. Controlled now by Salazar, who faces the challenge from Hoya. Sends it long. Racing back is Jackson to get on his line. Loose inside the six as the flag comes up. Roots handle the challenge well. That was the back of the head of Paul Bravo you got to look at. In his first year as the head coach of the Roots, because there's really no other answer to or way you could describe that. Of course, he was, in his background, in addition to being a MLS veteran, represented the United States men's national team, technical director with the Colorado Rapids. As this one comes out of play, stays with Oakland. And another man slow to get up as Hata, fighting for possession, gets taken down by Vasquez.
And the foul is given the other way.
And well, if you wanted to get the crowd even more so into this match, officiating is the way to do so, and it's firing up the base here. I think that Hata did bring that upon himself, put his hands out a little bit, did not try and avoid the contact. I understand what he's trying to do, but I think obviously the official did as well.
That's the second time now at the north end of the pitch that the fans have been disappointed with the non-calls on Hata, and they voiced their concerns at the referee. Mash squirms away from his defender. And the card's coming out again.
And so, again, this is the the last grasp, so to speak, just to establish and maybe slow down the way that things have been progressing in terms of the physicality.
Trying to see who's getting the card. It has been issued. And we'll let you know that in a second here. It is going to be to Mark Tanko. So each team now with a yellow card apiece. Good opportunity now for the Roots at the end of the half. Try and go into the dressing room with the lead.
Towards the back post, but grabbed out of the air with authority by Mendoza.
A little too much drive on the free kick there.
Mendoza showing some discomfort, grabbing his wrists as he got back up. And after he sent that ball long, I watched him as he ran back. He seemed to be holding it a little gingerly.
LA, of course, already have used one substitute as Jesus Gonzalez came out cramp, and he was replaced by number 91, Enrique Cardenas.
Vasquez sending it long. Hata able to keep it in play for the Roots. Off the deflection, anyone's ball. And this will stay with Oakland. The fans, they were worried that a foul was going to come in off the deflection. Another throw in. Christian from Gantus. Out to Hines. Whipped in. Went off a bounce. That'll be handled by Mendoza. As we've played about all 5 minutes of the at least 5 that were added on here at the end of the first half. And after 45 and change, we are level at 1 between Oakland Roots SC and LA Force. Back and forth attacking soccer all throughout this one, Steven. It's been pretty fun.
It's certainly lived up to the billing, as you said earlier, of a Northern versus Southern California showdown. And although it's only the second time these two teams have met, you sense this is going to be a good rivalry for years to come. In the meantime, though, I think it's going to be a fascinating second 45 minutes of this match.
Yeah, in terms of what you're expecting the second half, adjustments, it seems like both teams has been caught a little bit out of place on the counter, but necessarily it hasn't hurt them too badly. And even the one play that led to the goal, that was a turnover. That wasn't a classic counter.
Right.
So I would expect we're going to see more of this back and forth style throughout the half. And I know that when we talked with Paul Bravo in the past before, he talked about that wanting to be the home identity, to provide not just winning, but also entertaining soccer here at Laney Athletic Field.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to I think he's going to pull out all the stops to make sure the Roots come away with the victory here today. He's got plenty of attacking talent on the bench. I mean, we could summon the likes of Dylan Ortran or Dimbekwe Yamba, so there's certainly plenty of opportunities for him. But it's all square and all to play for here, Ted.
Level at 1 here at halftime. We're going to be taking a break. We'll be back with continued halftime coverage coming up next.
Work that. Work that. Work that. Work that. Work that. Work that. Work that.
Welcome back, everyone, here to Laney Athletic Field. We're level at 1 between the Roots and LA Force here, and I'm now joined by Janet Heller. She is the founder of Chapter 510. Chapter 510 is a Made in Oakland writing and publishing center and one of our proud community partners this year. Their vision is that all Oakland youth learn to write with confidence and joy. Janet, so nice to have you out here tonight. You look like you're having fun, and happy to have you.
There's something about being here where you see Oakland and everyone is having a great time, and the Roots actually are very poetic.
It's great. We love seeing the community. We love seeing everybody come out, and obviously Oakland is a classic example of the melting pot, and that was a question I had for you, is because with Chapter 510, the vision is that all Oakland youth learn to write with confidence and joy. Is it an additional challenge knowing there are so many people growing up in this environment where English is not the primary or English is one of many languages spoken in the household?
Right, and we do publish poetry in Arabic and in Spanish, and we're very much working with a lot of kids who aren't born here, but they're really interested in getting their story out.
And in terms of fostering that multicultural aspect, are you looking at them to draw from their own multicultural background?
I mean, we're doing a book right now on migration stories with third graders at Hoover. And the first day with the poet, there was over 50 languages spoken just with 25 kids in a classroom in Oakland.
That's incredible. 50 different languages?
50 different languages. So for them to do a map of where they came from, there were just push pins everywhere. And it makes a learning environment when you have so many different stories.
In terms of trying to integrate all these different aspects, do you find that the different kids from the different cultures are able to kind of learn from one another? Or are they all looking at new aspects that maybe they didn't previously?
I think there's something about poetry that's a connector, and particularly kids from other lands actually know poetry better than American kids do. So they have poems, they have their folk stories that they learned, and many kids are curious and kind around wanting to know, what does this sound like in my language? What does this sound like in your language?
You bring up the fact that it's more, the poetry is more seen in these other cultures. Is it a different iambic pentameter than maybe what a lot of American kids are used to?
Well, I think, rhyme and form are very much a part of any language is form. But I think that Americans are really wedded to the couplet, which is the rhyme couplet, so the AABB. I think that with spoken word and hip-hop, those forms have become universal. They're not American forms. They're Earth forms.
Yes. No, it's very fascinating to think about the different styles and how they impact. And I'm curious, in terms of watching something like this, a community event, is this something you will try to bring in to what you are going to have people write about, to try and talk about, not just specific to this game in and of itself, but trying to bring about that whole sense of community that Oakland is known for?
Well, today we're doing a Write Your Roots campaign. So for every person in the stadium, we are asking them to tell the story of how they got to Oakland and what they love about Oakland. And we're collecting all those poems. We're going to publish a book in the spring with Acorn Elementary. So it's a way that people connect today, is by writing this. And also, the Roots are so interested with their name, and also with the fact that they are so deeply rooted here. So it's an easy prompt.
It is an easy prompt, and it's nice to see everybody respond to it, especially we keep on hearing the response of the Roots are going to be the team that stays in Oakland now with a lot of the other things that are impacting sports. And it's nice because immediately people glom onto that as a source of pride.
Yeah, I mean, Chapter 510, we're in our 6th year, and we're really... we understand when we go into schools and there's a giant picture of Andre Iguodala, and he's not even here anymore.
Yeah.
So we feel like, with Jack and with Salifu coming into Chapter 510, all of the kids, girls, boys, and whoever, they really want their heroes and they want to come root for them.
And if people are interested in finding out more about Chapter 510, how can they do so?
Yeah, we're at chapter510.org. We're open every first Friday during Oakland First Friday, so November 1st. come in. We have a 6:30 storytelling event, and then we have a teen poet open mic.
Awesome. Well, Janet, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate what you're doing. Obviously, your association with the Roots is fantastic. And enjoy the rest of your evening, all right?
Thank you for having me.
Again, that is Janet Heller. She is the founder of Chapter 510. It is a Made in Oakland writing and publishing center and one of our proud community partners this year. Again, their vision is that all Oakland youth learn to write with confidence and joy. Again, we're here at Laney Athletic Field. It's level at 1 here between the Roots and the LA Force. And I will remind you that Pandora is proud to be the presenting halftime sponsor of the Roots. Discover personalized music, podcasts, and more, all with Pandora. And if you want to relive the magic of tonight, remember to check out all the music and sounds from tonight's game by searching Oakland Roots in your Pandora app. We're going to take a break. When we continue, we'll have more halftime coverage plus kickoff for the second half.
6 million ways to mob, choose one.
Something in the water. Hey, oh. On the gas, I'm just trying to pass all the red lights and the stop signs. I'm ready to go. Before I get to the baby, that's a problem. Cause I'm way too scared to call and you might get me to stay. No, I don't really mind the drive, but I think I'd probably die in Oakland. When my hands are doing things, so I guess it all depends on Oakland. And I'm nervous, truth be told, I never saw me growing old in Oakland. And if I'm buried here tonight, it will probably start a riot.
I mean, such a diverse city, and then we're coming to a city where there's also many cultures and different people. It just kind of sums up my family coming here and having different people come together to create something else, so it really fits us nicely.
Here's Gonzalez and now McInerney. It's Jack McInerney again! Jack McInerney with his third goal! The hat-trick hero in Oakland!
It's the Jack Mack Show!
You know, it worked out that I scored the first goal, so they reached out to me and asked if I wanted to make an ice cream. My first thought was, you know, my family and bringing them here and how my daughter would love making ice cream, so we were more than happy to come out and check out this local place and meet some of the local people here.
It's so bad.
Yeah, what color is the soap?
You can name it the hat trick. We got strawberry ice cream, sprinkles, and birthday cake. It's actually really good.
We happen to have two folks here who play soccer for the Roots, and they're just coming by, and they are very committed to not only youth writing, but building a spirit around Oakland. And I've been so impressed. I've seen so many jerseys and Roots fans, and they're here to share two sweet poems as a part of our intergenerational night.
Football is flesh and blood, love and lies and truth, the indelible comradeship, the principles and disciplines of a life lived rich or poor, all that make the flesh and blood of football.
Welcome back, everyone, to Laney Athletic Field. Halftime here, level at 1. Pandora is proud to be the presenting halftime sponsor of the Roots. Discover personalized music, podcasts, and more, all with Pandora. And if you want to relive the magic of tonight, remember to check out all the music and sound from tonight's game by searching Oakland Roots in your Pandora app. Again, level at 1 here between the Roots and LA Force. Ted Ramey alongside Stephen Davies here at Laney Athletic Field. And, Stephen, that was a pretty wild first half, back-and-forth action.
I think it was as it was going to be billed, Ted. It had a little bit of everything, didn't it? A goal against the run and play for the Force to take the lead, and then just a stunning goal out of nowhere by Ryan Mash. The fans were really up for it, as you can imagine, with Mr. Fab rocking the house beforehand, getting everyone jacked up for this one as a look at the man himself. And, yeah, he did a really nice job of getting the crowd up for this one. Early opportunities for the Roots, and to LA's credit, they really did a good job of absorbing the early pressure, as we see Daniel Mendoza there taking a shot from Angel Heredia, working this one down the byline here. But here's the goal. This is off the mistake by Gantus, and Ruiz lays that off unselfishly for Marvin Milano, who's been kind of absent from the match ever since he scored that goal. And then Sally Fuhata had a golden opportunity to put the Roots level. At the other end, Larry Jackson makes a tremendous save from Milano, who gets his second chance there at the header. And Jackson there tips it right up in the air. And then Mash, out of nothing, from well outside the box, close to 30 yards, just unleashes that one with the right foot. Too strong for Mendoza to deal with. And we go into the half, all tied up at a goal apiece.
And so now we will see if the Roots can have a win in their final home match of 2019. They've definitely been on the front foot at several points, and we have not seen the stats or anything, but I'd have to imagine the possession's probably going to be pretty even to this one. This one's been just defined by end-to-end, back-and-forth action.
It's been great entertainment, Ted. I mean, every match they've had here at home this season, perhaps the results haven't been there, but the goal scoring has definitely been there. And, you know, with NISA planning on a full season next year, anywhere between 12 to 14 teams potentially taking part, this is something that's only going to get better from here. And, you know, we haven't made note of it really, but the season will conclude for the Roots next week as they travel to Miami to face the Orange and Blue. They're a team like the Roots in the way that they have quality players as the cornerstones of their franchise, like Dylan Mares, Ariel Martinez, Marco Franco. Those are all guys that have, you know, that have been around and know what they're doing on the pitch. And so it's going to be a real test of their character next week, making the trip to the East Coast. But of course, next season, you definitely want to be here at Laney. Of course, we'd like to have you here on the stream, of course, but you'd much prefer to come out here and see it for yourself in person.
Second half is on here at Laney Athletic Field. Level at 1 here between the Roots and LA. Again, this game level at 1. And immediately this is going to be handled on the outside.
Don't see any changes for the Roots made at halftime. Of course, LA have already made one substitution as Jesus Gonzalez left due to a cramp, and Enrique Cardenas came in to replace him. Masters had that on, and whistle's blown.
So back to LA it goes.
I think both teams were deserving of a goal at the intermission.
And Jackson handles it well. Guys, am I correct in not seeing a second half Oakland industry?
Christian sends it forward. Mistake made by...
And here's a turnover, yeah. On top of the 18. Still loose. Into the 6. And finally cleared away.
Bodies down everywhere, but the referee gave a good look to both challenges there. It was shoulder charge on the edge of the 18-yard box by Christian, I believe. And then Jackson clatters into Madrigal. And my mistake there was Kadeem saying on that initial challenge. But the lack of intensity between these two teams has not dropped off during the halftime interval.
And here's one into the 18, popped up and out of play.
Chavez stride for stride there with Muchiri. Put his right foot onto it, hits it into touch.
Throw in deep in Roots territory. Again, the Roots are in white, LA is in black. And that one will be headed out nicely as Mash tries to get it forward. And Hoya gets pushed down, draws the foul.
Well, gives a shove to his opposite number. And Hoya might get a warning here, and he will. The two captains there might, be called together here for a spirit of sportsmanship pep talk by the referee.
That's Alvaro Madrigal. Hails from Watsonville, Loyola Marymount product.
Yeah, called one of his Central Coast section games against Bellarmine way back when in the day. So good to see him now here at the pro level.
And Christian spins away and dumps it off to Gantus. After Chavez quickly getting it forward. Back to Christian. Hines.
Good ball.
Playing it wide for Mash. Mash couldn't get there, boxed off the ball, watched out of play. LA takes back over on the possession.
It's a fairly anonymous first half for the man they call the franchise, Jack McInerney. Yet to get his name on the score sheet. Ryan Mash, as we mentioned, though, with goal number 4 on this short campaign.
As a foul is called.
Superb turnout, as usual, here at Laney. Stands packed on both sides. Standing room only here in front of our commentary position. Notice a few guests have sided the steps up to the press box. It's a pretty good vantage point.
Here's a ball in, chested down. Still loose, kept alive. Madrigal. And racing back to control this back to the keeper. Here's an errant ball. And Mendoza able to recover. And turned over once again. It's Cardenas. Spinning away. And now out to the wing. Moved centrally. And no foul will be called. As Ruiz went tumbling. As Hoya not backing down in the face of several challenges, then comes get hard from behind by Ruiz.
Ruiz. The commentary from the PA announcer that had us laughing was, we are in Oakland. In case you couldn't pick that up. Ruiz is, Hoya's just got to be a little selective now the rest of the way. He's already had a talking to for his push on Madrigal, and a look of fury then as he got up after the confrontation with Ruiz. His work rate has been outstanding tonight. for the Roots, but can't let his temper dictate things here, perhaps.
As Jackson gets it out of the 18, Hoya goes to the air. McInerney trying to fly him for possession, and they've done a really good job of keeping McInerney off the ball tonight. We really haven't said his name that much. It's opened up the opportunities for Hatta, but that's probably the way they wanted to set this out, as Ruiz plays one off the ref and gets it back and draws a foul.
Well, talk about the 12th man. Referee advances the ball. Ruiz gets fouled, and free kick in a fairly dangerous area here for the visitors.
'53rd minute, we are level at 1. Free kick coming for the Force. Dos Anjos getting ready to give this a ride. And he'll get under that one and send it long.
He hit the bathrooms all the way on the other side beyond the football post, so that was a good 25 yards past the target.
The distance was there.
Distance was there, for sure.
So Hatta's pass is going to be taken away, out of play. LA off the throw-in. 54th minute. Again, we are level at 1. Immediately challenged off the throw-in was Gantus, and this ball is out of play. It'll be back to Oakland.
Just one sub, it appears, warming up for LA at the moment. Meantime, for the Roots, everyone congregated to the south end of the pitch. And
Hatta's unable to control that one off the throw-in. Once again, found himself in a physical confrontation, although much more mild than what we've seen previously in the game, but with Gregory Salazar, UC Davis product.
Control deserted the big man there a little bit.
Anyone's ball now, middle third. Played to the outside, Tanko lifting it over the top. Just kept on the edge of the defensive third. Back out Tanko again, rough first touch. Leads to the control of Mash. Some nice footwork, but this will be knocked out of play. Stays with the Roots off the throw-in. Hines finds a target. McInerney lays it out on the right wing for Chavez, who runs it down with the cross, loose in the 18 and cleared out. Hoya pushing it forward once again.
Good sliding challenge there to win back the ball. As Hoya's through ball was sweetly weighted there.
And the Roots caused the turnover. Out to Mash. Mash dribbles behind his back, lays it out. The cross is deflected and blocked and goes to the control of LA. Now on the right wing. Coming in with a bit of a push and a shove there. And this will stay with LA.
Chris Christian adamant that he used the shoulder there.
Did not look like the worst I've ever seen, nor the best. What say you, Stephen Davies?
Not sure I need to say much of anything at all there, to be honest with you. I mean,
it looked worse in real time. Usually things look worse in a little bit of slow-mo. This one curving towards the top of the 6 and then cleared out of the 18.
going back briefly to that last attacking sequence when Hoya played Chavez over to the right side, I don't think any of his teammates expected him to get that much swerve and direction back towards the edge of the 18-yard box as the attackers were all more congregated towards the edge of the 6. So Roots unable to capitalize on that opportunity, and a substitute coming in now for LA.
Yeah, it's going to be Daniel Amo coming in for Boniface Muchiri.
The second substitution then for the Force.
Boniface Machiri, number 20, Daniel Amo.
So the Kenyan comes out, the Ghanaian comes in.
And we are still level at 1 here in the 58th minute.
And Coach Bravo might be ready to summon a substitute of his own as he sent one of his assistant coaches down to have a word with the substitutes warming up over there on the south end of the pitch.
And here's a long ball. Jackson handling with no difficulty at all. As Christian plays it back to Jackson. And with backspin, sends it out towards the center line. Flicked forward, popped up. And this pinball's about the middle third. Finally controlled by Oakland.
Madrigal gets pushing the back from Say. And Say's going to get called over here. And the card is going to come out. So
Oakland Kia is the Roots local vehicle sponsor. Visit Oakland Kia for your next purchase or lease. As a card comes in, and that was on Kadeem Say. I was reading copy, Stephen.
Yeah, gave a shove in the back to the captain, Madrigal, and right in front of the referee. I don't think he had much choice but to brandish a yellow.
As Dos Anjos gets ready. Towards the 6, punched away by Jackson, who collides with his own man.
He was lucky he almost didn't take out the LA Force player too, but he gave no worry to the, sacrifice the body on that one, and the Roots might be ready to make a double substitution here. Ted, we'll come back to that in a moment.
Here's the throw into the 18, but we'll get a whistle inside there.
And I think we will indeed have a double substitution here for Paul Bravo.
As Jackson calmly walks this up. '60th minute now. And finally coming down with it is LA as this is laid out onto the left wing, far touchline out of play. Back to Oakland.
So it's going to be Andres Jimenez and Dylan Ortran. We mentioned Ortran might be a potential substitution at the half that Paul Bravo would look to try and change the attacking dynamic of this game. So for Ortran, it'll be his 4th appearance of the season. For Jimenez, his 4th as well.
Up the right wing it comes, inside. Hata going back outside. Chavez looking for an open man, plays it back to the center line, and Gantus.
Promising attacking play there, and Chavez on the 1-2. Couldn't get the control that he was looking for.
And Hoya, he saw something he liked. He wanted to move quickly, gets it to the outside. And reset along the back line once again as they switch to the far side. Gantus with a nice diagonal towards the top of the 18. This is going to be headed on, and it's going to be knocked out. Relatively deep throw in for the Roots in LA territory.
Well, Mark Tanko made a mess of that header for sure, forcing Mendoza to scramble off his line.
And Hata's a little shaken up after the play.
It's going to be throwing deep into the attacking third, but concern here for Hata, who's, to be fair, been in the wars a little bit tonight, Ted. But here's look at it. Mendoza just gets to the byline in time, and Hata goes down.
So he's just given a little time for the substitutions, bringing things down.
So Jimenez is on.
Substitution for the Oakland Roots.
He's going to place Heredia.
Replacing number 48, Saifu Jetta.
And
number 11, Dylan Otran.
so Ortran's in for Hata, and it was Heredia, the other substitute.
And replacing number 20, Angel Heredia. Number 8, Andres Jimenez.
So Otran is still waiting to come on.
And there we go. A good stint there from the big man, and he'll get a hearty round of applause here from the home fans.
Because when he wakes up tomorrow, he'll probably feel it along all 6'4" of his body.
Yeah, right? So the introduction of Ortran in particular now gives the Roots a little more pace on the outside. And see if they can get Jack McInerney more involved in the match. And they're looking for Ortran straight away.
Yeah, right off the bat, but he's unable to come down with that cleanly.
Sure, Salazar's glad to see the last of Salafu somehow.
And we'll get a foul on the outside there. Again, we're level at 1 here in the 64th minute. And this will set up a dangerous set piece for LA. Rocket in right into the belly of Jackson, who sees it in with ease. Oakland working along the back line here.
It's flick forward.
Run down, played in, deflected out over the end line. It's out for a corner for Oakland.
And I think the Roots will be happy with that. Lovely flick with the outside of the foot by Robert Hines there to send the ball forward and mash off a defender. I believe it was Colwell. Earns a corner kick.
Played short on top, then whipped back in. Defended, popped out. And this is going to stay in play. That ball had some wicked English on it. Looked like it was headed out the entire way, but it's played back to Jackson.
Hoyle will be disappointed with that delivery. Jackson hammers this one forward.
Out on the right wing. Crossed, headed away. And this is going to roll out. It's going to stay with Oakland.
Let's go, Roots.
No time wasted in getting this back in play. Pushed in on top of the 18. Mash trying to fight his way in. Loses it, but it's possessed still. The shot's going to be blocked off the body. And running this down towards the corner flag, going to ground. And then a bit of a takedown out there on the outside.
And Chavez is furious that he didn't get fouled there. It was Ortran who was unable to find his footing to try and cue up a shot right-footed.
So Hoya making his way over for the corner service.
Let's make some noise, Oakland.
Hard to see. Well, here's a replay. Let's see. Did the ball go into touch? No, a foul.
No.
No, a corner was given. No, free kick. Never mind.
Just right there.
Yep.
Header just wide. So Oakland threatens but can't find the back of the net. We're still level of 1 here in the 67th minute.
Roots in the ascendancy over the course of the last 5 to 6 minutes. The introduction of the substitutions, or substitutes, I should say, certainly seem to give them a little extra energy here.
Oakland Roots rejects the use of homophobic language. We want to create a safe, family-friendly, and inclusive atmosphere here.
Controlled on the outside and played to Gantus. Christian moves it forward, but this is going to be deflected, taken away, and blasted back to the defensive third for Oakland, where Jackson is there to handle. Lost out of play, throw-in stays with Oakland. Kept alive by Oakland, but played to the back line where it's popped up.
That one might be out in the parking
was
lot.
like that
That's off the
that's
roof.
off the roof, yeah.
And that one's gone. Well, I might have a souvenir when I go back to my car later on,
right?
the 10.
Throw in now for Oakland, or excuse me, for LA. Yeah, this will be played back to Jackson. Well, no, he got pressured from behind and just got rid of it. Now this sets up, obviously, a dangerous set piece for LA here in the 69th minute. Corner being set up to the right of Jackson. 70th minute, level of one. Ball in. Jackson goes up into the air with authority. No problem there.
Safe hands from the experienced man, and now Victor Bernardes is set to make his appearance on the pitch.
As a foul is called on McInerney after he bounces off a man. He does not look exactly enthralled with the call.
A little over 20 minutes plus injury time remaining. Can the Roots summon the magic and pull out a second consecutive victory? Here's a look at the foul called on McInerney.
And this is going to be brought down on the outside. Racing to the byline, crossed and then punched away. Just barely got a hand in on that was Jackson. Here's another ball in. Popped up, out. Back on a goal kick to the Roots.
That was Salazar, I believe, that had the opportunity in there on goal, but the way his body was contorted, difficult to get a shot off there. It was Cardenas, 91.
As Big Vic again is getting ready to sub into this match for the Roots.
Substitution for Oakland Roots, replacing number 4, Nadir Gantus.
So Gantus is out, Victor Bernardes is in.
And replacing number 21,
And Mash
number 7,
is out. And Dembakwe Yamba comes in for Mash.
Shout out to Oaklandish, our official.
We're still level at one here in the 72nd minute.
Oaklandish is to spread local love by way of their civic pride-evoking tees and accessories while creating quality inner-city jobs for locals.
Quickly back in play.
To the people and places.
Right wing on the attack, come the Roots.
So wear it well when you rock these roots.
And this one's going to have too much on it, out of play, back to the force.
Chavez will be disappointed with that. His deliveries have been excellent today, and that cross is something that will definitely, he'll give that some thought before he goes to bed tonight. So speed and experience then, the order of the day for Coach Bravo.
Yeah, not much more experience out there in the football world than Victor Bernardez.
No doubt.
As Hoya heads this on, wanted Yamba, and then this is going to be cleared out. Stays with Oakland, however. Big Vic, of course, a World Cup veteran.
Working very hard to create a positive and inclusive atmosphere here in Oakland. We would also
Longtime
call on the
Honduran
fans
international.
to help us achieve that.
As Hoya now on the attack.
We want everyone to feel
Wanted to
welcome
chip
here.
that, got too much on it.
Please help us
Handled by
make this
Mendoza.
the type of inclusive, welcoming, safe environment that Oakland is famous for. Thank you very much for your support.
As this ball goes out of play, it'll be back to Oakland. 73rd minute, we are level at 1. Controlled by LA, middle third. Say trying to disrupt as this is dumped back. Dos Anjos working to the outside. Tanko plays it forward. On the overlap, Ruiz crosses it in, headed away. Bernardez sees it in quite cleanly and heads it out just as clean. And again, we'll look at Tanko on the throw-in. Not much doing there as that's handled by Jackson. And that one's going to be loose in the circle. Cardenas finally coming down with it for LA. Dos Anjos to the outside. Nice diagonal looking for Cardenas, who tries to bring it down, unable to do so cleanly. The flag stayed down. Jackson handling it cleanly.
Keep an eye on Yambi here on the left wing.
And the flag comes up, offside. Aggressive. You saw it, Steven.
Yeah, he was a little overeager that time.
Again, we're level at 1 here in the 75th minute. NISA showcase between your Oakland Roots and LA Force. Roots defense handling that. Playing it along the back line. Through the Jackson keeper at the feet of Bernardez.
Well, the Roots Radicals are definitely doing their best to try and push their team over the line here inside the final 15 minutes.
Out of play back to LA.
And LA, I think, will be ready soon to make their final changes before the conclusion of this one.
Bernard is able to handle. As this one's flicked on the right wing. Played centrally. And a shot and a save by Mendoza.
Well, it's taken the best part of 77 minutes, but Jack McInerney with a header forward and then a right-footed effort knocks on the door for the Roots.
And here's a long ball for Cardenas, but coming out, Jackson heads it away from the impending attack. And here's one for Yamba, but out of play.
It's going to be a corner kick.
Let's go, Roots.
Good eyes, Steven.
Yeah, that was sliced off the outside of the right foot of the LA Force defender, so a bit of a lucky break there for the Roots. That could have easily gone into touch, but instead Hoya has a corner kick now. and everyone except Bernardes and Jimenez will be in and around the 18-yard box.
Ball in. Flicked on, popped up.
And Chris Christian came forward there. That could have gone anywhere.
As we'll play on here after an upending that leaves a man down. Oakland keeping this alive. Mendoza has it, but he was outside the 18.
Yeah, that was really close. That's why he had to. Well, his
toe back. Yeah,
his toes were, if not over the line, were very, very close. And we've also got to play it down now for LA over by the goalpost. It's Yamba the player down for the Roots. There's a body sprawled on the deck over there for LA. Let's have a look. So there's Yamba on the ground. Here's Mendoza coming off his line. That ball is over the 18-yard line.
Where's section B and C? Let me hear you.
And it took a long time for him to get ready for it as well.
I mean, fair play to Mendoza to get his feet situated, but there was no way he was going to keep his momentum from carrying him over the edge of the 18-yard box. But I think at that point, perhaps the referee's attention were elsewhere with Yamba and the LA Force players still to be determined. This might be a little tricky to see. But Mendoza goes up. His feet are down.
Feet are down. That ball's outside the 18. I mean, that's controlled. That's
why he got rid of it like a hot potato there, right?
We'll take this moment for our Roots fan of the game, powered by East Bay Community Energy. East Bay Community Energy providing greener power at lower rates. Visit ebce.org to find out more. There's our fan of the game. Again, our Roots fan of the game brought to you by East Bay Community Energy. Again, visit ebce.org to find out more.
The fan of the game with the scarf.
And we are so thankful to the
They're all having a good time tonight.
For showing up.
Finally, the LA Force player is back up off the ground, and it is.
Well, the announced attendance, 5,723. Now, is that the record, Stephen?
I believe it's pretty close. I know that they were approaching the 6,000 mark last week against the Catapec. I still haven't got an ID on the player that's injured over there. I can tell you, meanwhile, James Aylwine, number 3, is about to come on for LA.
As the Roots back line handles this nicely. However, this is back in just as quickly as it was out there. Bernardes able to head that one away from immediate danger. By the way, as we wait for this substitution, Aylwine, Stephen, as I was telling you, might be the most appropriate football term or the last name that we've heard in years.
Substitution for
yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you.
So Aylwine is out, or is on. Tanko is out.
The player that's being attended to has made his way back over to the touchline.
Los Angeles replacing number 12 Ricardo Ruiz.
So is Ruiz.
And Jackson floating up there with ease, and he leads Hoya on the run.
And Yamba is screaming for it over on the left.
Here's Hoya moving inside and gets taken down with a professional foul. We'll see if this brings out a card. And it will.
Who's the card going to be issued to? Should be Giovanni Vasquez, right? I would think.
I believe that's who it was issued to.
Well, plenty of options here on the set piece. Chavez is standing over, as is Benji Hoyer.
That's an error on the number. Madrigal's already in there.
So Hoyer is going to take it for Oakland. McInerney right in between the penalty spot and the 18-yard line.
Hoyer getting set. Lobbing it in. And that's not going to be able to control it off a head or out of play. Oakland all saying at once that was last touch by L.A.
I think it looked like it from here. It looked like Aylwine, it came off the side of his head, perhaps his shoulder. But to me, it looked like the last touch is clearly made by Los Angeles.
83rd minute, level at 1 here. This one is lined to the center line. Bernardez and Christian. Yamba to an onside. Hoyer, I know the flag does come up.
Hoyer voices his displeasure there.
Back in play. And Bernardez is going to watch this all the way back to Jackson. Christian.
So the man that scored the goal in the forced victory over the Roots in Los Angeles is set to come on. Naeem Charles, wearing number 7. Can he find some late goal-scoring magic to send the force back to L.A. with 3 points?
L.A. all wanted a handball there, but they won't get it. As this one is lifted on a nice diagonal, immediately sent in. Bad clearance after bad clearance after bad clearance, it seemed like.
And Yamba lost his footing in all of it. Great play by Christian there.
And still loose. Christian comes up to recover. This one pinballing about back to Bernardez. He feeds one through. McInerney looking to distribute, puts one out on the right wing.
Chavez almost made a mess of that one and doesn't make the run forward. And Ortran there was expecting to make or to continue his run there on the overlap, didn't do so. And a chance squandered now for the Roots.
So Naeem Charles is coming in. And Milano coming out. Merlano, excuse me.
Naeem Charles.
Superbly taken goal by Milano early off the pass from Ruiz, who could have gone for glory himself.
So we'll do this again. We wait to get this ball back in play. 86th minute. Out of play. And Yumba will play this to the back line. Hines and Christian. Here's Bernardez. Moving it through the right flat. Wanted McInerney along. And a foul comes in.
Devontae Dubose is going to make an appearance. Second of the season.
substitution for the Oakland Roots, replacing number 2, David
And that's David Chavez coming out.
Should get a big hand. And the Oakland native. Makes his debut. Final roll of the dice in for Coach Bravo.
88th minute. 1 on the board for Oakland, 1 for LA. And this ball kept on poking its way in and drawing a foul. So we'll stay with Oakland. To the outside. Crossed. Yamba can't put much pace on that. Now Mendoza getting ready to get this back in play. Controlled off the center line, only briefly, and then tipped ahead. Yomba chesting it down. Able to control, tries to send it long for Autran just off his flank, but Autran wasn't ready for that one. It's back now to LA. '90th minute. I don't think we're going to get too much more than 3 minutes added on here. As going to ground with the interception there is Yamba. Now Hoya on the attack. Tries to move it in, but it's taken away. Recovered by Yamba. He'll send one in a little bit too much with the gusto. He'll probably want that one back. As now LA tries to bring the counter coming. 3 minutes set to be added on. Madrigal. Aylwine. Out of play. Now Hines looking for a target.
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 3 minutes.
So 3 minutes officially as this ball is headed back to the control of Mendoza. And he'll send it long. Bernardez sees it in. Out of play. Throw in for Oakland. Hoya dribbling through traffic, dumps it back. Christian Jackson. Into the flat. Whistle comes in. And in no hurry to get up is this member of LA. You know, there's a picture of people up there on the roof here due to the capacity crowd. The announce was 5,723. Just part of the fantastic turnout that we've seen here in year number 1 for the Roots here at Laney Athletic Field. As the Roots handle that ball and control, but lose it out of play. It'll be back to LA. But again, 5,723. As the throw-in comes towards the top of the 18. Bernardez using his size. And this is going to be lost out of play. So despite disrupting, LA will get another chance. As we're about 2 minutes into the at least 3 that were allotted. The throw in towards the spot. Still loose. The shot is off the mark. Off the crossbar, but the other crossbar. But they're going to say that did last touch off a member of Oakland. So this will set up a dangerous set piece off the corner now in the waning moments of this match here that's level at 1. Game level at 1. Final home match of 2019 here at Laney Athletic Field, and we get a whistle there in the mosh pit as this one sails away harmlessly.
All right, let's make some noise.
And that's full time. Final score, Oakland 1, LA 1. This one ends in a draw in the final home match of the 2019 campaign for the Oakland Roots. So a good effort here tonight from Oakland. I think the one that they're going to be looking at and wondering how it couldn't go in would be the header from Hata earlier in this game that got deflected. It went out for a corner, but he had a point-blank shot, had Mendoza dead to rights, that somehow a hand was gotten in on it, even if it did deflect off his shoulder. It just was not able to put in the back of the net, and that's one of the big difference makers we're looking at in this match here today. A good performance, an entertaining game, a lot of end-to-end action here between both sides. As we saw a lot of great interplay from the Roots. It simply wasn't there, just a few mere weeks ago. We saw better build-up, we saw better chemistry, we saw better timing, and it's something that this Roots team is going to want to work on as they go forward in this 2019 campaign, obviously, and looking ahead to next year. But I think there were moments where head coach Paul Bravo probably liked a lot of the build-up, liked a lot of the way the team was reading each other and feeding off each other, and able to make the right move off the right passes and find themselves in the half spaces and try and make something happen. But ultimately, we're just not able to walk away with the win here tonight. But again, a very nice performance from the Oakland Roots, who end up tying LA 1-1. We've got Stephen Davies on the sidelines, and let's toss it down. Stephen, take it from here.
Here with Ryan Mash. Ryan, it probably felt like the season went by in the blink of an eye, didn't it?
It did, definitely did. It was a short season.
And talk us through the goal today. A little bit unexpected, perhaps from 30 yards out, but what a shot to put the Roots level in the match.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was, I found the space, I had the opening and took the shot, so it was good.
What's been the one thing you'll take away from the last 12 weeks or so as far as memories are concerned and how you bonded with this team?
Really just the energy around the whole organization. It's been a great atmosphere, as you can tell with the sellout crowds every game, but also in the locker room and the coaching staff as well. Everyone's been awesome.
Talk a little bit about this crowd. I know your teammates are celebrating with them right now, but you must feed off the energy that they provide game in and game out.
Absolutely. My teammates are great. It's a team sport. Everything is about the team with us, and of course the fans as well. They're part of that team and bringing everyone together, so it's awesome.
We got one more thing for you. You are the Little Giant ice cream player of the game, so we've got a little sweet treat for you for a sweet goal that you scored today. So best of luck for next season and beyond, and I hope you've had a great time playing for the Roots this season.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Ryan Mash, Ted, back up to you.
Cream. Little Giant is an Oakland-based premium hand-scooped ice cream featuring new flavors every day. Check them out at Little Giant Ice Cream. Again, that was our lone goal scorer of the day from the Roots in Ryan Mash, but he was, again, our Little Giant man of the mash. Be sure to check out Little Giant Ice Cream at littlegianticecream.com, and that's a shot of Benji Hoya addressing the fans here in the final match of the 2019 campaign here at Laney Athletic Field. in this NISA showcase tonight here between the Roots and the Force. But again, a promising performance from the Roots, who again just showed much greater chemistry, and we've seen this develop over the last few weeks. But that takes us out of tonight's match, or again, the final score here at Laney Athletic Field is a final of 1-1. But a big thanks to BAOSN.TV for handling tonight's broadcast. Always love working with them, and they bring a fantastic broadcast package to all our viewers here in the East Bay and beyond. And of course, Stephen Davies, always fun doing a broadcast with him, and of course to the Roots community for making Laney Athletic Field such a great atmosphere to watch a match, and for these players to participate and for me to broadcast in. It's been great being able to be part of this community here in year one in 2019. But again, the finish tonight, a draw between the Roots and LA Force, a final of 1-1. For Stephen Davies and the Oakland Roots, I'm Ted Ramey. Oh no, I can keep on going a little bit longer, I guess, as we get a look at Mash there, as he was again our man of the match. But again, 1-1 final here tonight. And again, for BAOSN, Stephen Davies and the Oakland Roots, I'm Ted Ramey signing off.